This is a Star Wars review of the first issue of Shattered Empire published by Marvel Comics on September 9, 2015. This series is written by Greg Rucka with art by Marco Checchetto. Just a heads up, this episode contains spoilers. Fans have been getting their Star Wars fix through the main series and spin-offs since January, but this is a new series. What's special about this mini-series is that it kicks off right from the final moments of Return of the Jedi. You could almost say that fans have been waiting for this for the past 32 years since Episode VI was first released. Sort of. Before I dive into this issue, I think it's important to note that there are a few recent changes to the way Star Wars stories exist within the Star Wars universe. Up until 2012, all officially licensed Star Wars material was part of what was known as the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Following the Walt Disney Company's acquisition of Lucasfilm in 2012, it was announced in early 2014 that all previously released Expanded Universe content would now fall under the new banner of Star Wars Legends, and would not be considered canon with the movies. Whether or not you love the Expanded Universe, Disney changed the lore of Star Wars overnight. In particular, this had a large effect on the comic books. For over 2 decades, Dark Horse had the license to publish Star Wars comics, but likely due to Disney's acquisition of Marvel Entertainment in 2009, the right to publish was now in Marvel's hands as of 2015. These new ongoing Marvel stories would take place within the film universe. Earlier this year, Marvel released the first issues of Star Wars, and following that, a few new Star Wars spin-off series. Spin-offs included stories that followed Princess Leia, Darth Vader, Kanan Jarrus, and Lando Calrissian, and going forward, we'll see even more new comics that follow Chewbacca, C-3PO, and more. That brings us to today's issue. For the first time, Shattered Empire kicks off a new official history that takes us past the destruction of the second Death Star and forward. The first few pages depict the Battle of Endor, and then it moves on from there. As far as our cast, the principal characters from the original trilogy are present, but we only catch quick glimpses of them. They're there in the background, but this story doesn't focus on them. Our protagonist is a rebel A-Wing pilot named Shara Bey. Right from the get-go, the reader is thrust into battle with her above Endor. As the panels move along, veterans of the Rebel Alliance are finally seeing an end to the war, only to have that realization crushed by new developments. While you get a sense of happiness of war coming to an end, there also seemed to be an urge for Shara and her husband to jump right back into battle as soon as they receive the call up. Now, I haven't mentioned Shara's husband yet, Kes Dameron. If you're up to date with the film casting news, Oscar Isaac is playing one of the main characters in The Force Awakens. His character's name just so happens to be Poe Dameron. Simply knowing this piece of information, along with the fact that the new film takes place 30 years after this issue, I believe these are Poe's parents. I'm also getting a sense that this 4-issue miniseries will end in tragedy for the family. Now, this is pure speculation, but I think once it's revealed that Shara is pregnant, the emotional core of this story will focus on their fight to save their future child. We don't have any confirmation of this, but so far the Marvel Star Wars comics have played it pretty safe, and this seems like a safe bet. Now for the art. The art in this is on another level. There's so much detail, and Marco Checchetto has done an amazing job of making this feel like you're watching a movie. The colors fit the tone of the older movies. The landscapes of space and the Force are absolutely beautiful. The faces also look natural, but not hyper-realistic like the first few issues of the regular Star Wars run. Marco is really good at using the page as much as possible, and making the panels play nice with one another. Particularly, the opening 2-page spread is awesome. Seriously, the artists knock it out of the park in this. It's so cinematic, and I'm looking forward to the next issue just for the artwork alone. As far as new information goes, not a lot happened. There were a few nice moments like Han arguing with Lando over busting up his ship and Luke battling Darth Vader, but they were very careful to not over-deliver on fan service or give too much of The Force Awakens away. It really feels like the issue is just warming us up for what is about to unfold. Unfortunately, this is a run of only 4 issues, so we're a quarter of the way there already. Side note, if you want to read this before the movie, you can wait until November 18th for the trade paperback edition and catch up with the story before the release of The Force Awakens in December. They'll probably save you a few bucks as well. Overall, this was okay. It stoked the fire in me for more Star Wars story. Don't expect the first issue to reveal a ton of details leading up to Episode VII. That being said, it's still fun to see the sliver of progression. That wraps it up for the first in the series of Star Wars discussions. I'll be releasing these every Thursday going forward, as long as Marvel publishes new issues. Be sure to subscribe to keep up to date, and like the video if you'd like to see more.